Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping this is going live. I'm just looking at the YouTube and it's not looking great. So if you are listening to me rambling right now, then I do apologize. But it doesn't look like it's gone live. It normally has by now. So as I say, if you're listening to me ramble, then I apologize profusely. Yes, it has gone live. Welcome, everybody. We are live on F125. We finally got rid of F124. And we are in the pre-season. We are preparing for our, for the next season. We've got a lot has changed in MRC over the past few weeks. We have reintroduced Tier 4. We have, unfortunately, gotten rid of MRCX for a season. I have no doubt it will be one other change that I would like to introduce you all to. If you've been in MRC since the early days, then you will know this man quite well. If you're not, then you're in for quite an introduction. He's guaranteed me that he is calm. He is factual, and he is a changed man. This remains to be seen. Please welcome to CoCom's Gav, a.k.a. Night Shadow. How are you doing tonight, sir? Well, I was about to ask him to do an on-board lap, but I will wait for him to rejoin after he is... Once he has reappeared, we will get an on-board lap from the screaming Scottish Banshee. Exactly, we expect nothing less. Oh, Ant says, can't hear Gav, it's probably for the best. I'm just checking this and... Oh, yeah. How utterly bizarre. I've introduced Gav. He has promised that he is factual and calm, but...
I have arrived, I believe now.
We hope so. Can someone confirm that they can hear Gav, please?
Factual shall not stoke controversy. That
yes,
is
indeed. That is the point we are at. So, I'm trying to find someone who might be about to start a lap.
I will be there in no time at all.
Gav has joined.
Yes.
And the next person to cross the line will be BRD Calvin. If you would like to take us on a hot lap of Bahrain.
I will be there shortly. So I am currently looking at a loading screen. So I will tell you that he is coming down the start-finish straight as we speak right now. He will be braking down into turn number 1. Yes, here we go. We are here. Right, let's do this in the proper, concise manner. Coming down to turn number 1 at the present moment. Coming right down 90 miles an hour. Second gear into turn 2 now. Round about 4th gear, 180 all the way up now. We go down the straight. 105 kilometers an hour. Then we'll break down into the top of turn number 4. And coming to the end of sector 1 as he is on those intermediate tyres. And then this very technical section, downforce critical here as he comes sweeping through 5, 6 and 7, braking hard down into 8, snatches the inside wheel, but now coming through between 8 and 9 DRS detection zone 2 just here. Within a second in front, coming now down into 10 in previous games. You've been able to lock up the front left quite easily there. Second DRS detection, the wing is wide open, utilising some of that speed, 320 kilometers an hour, 8th gear before slamming on the brakes into turn 11. So close the rear end there if you don't have sufficient downforce, especially critical through 12 and into 13, which we are coming to now. Into sector 3 now. Sector 3 very much about speed and power, as Jeremy would say. But again, putting the Power down within the DRS detection zone at the end of this straight. 310 kilometres, swinging it into turn 14, turn 15, just a little pinch just now. Power remains, except he's going into the pit lane. There was a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit.
Gosh, I've missed Gav Power laps.
It wasn't bad considering I actually didn't know what he was doing for the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, to be fair. Also, it was on a set of intermediates, so you did really, really well.
That is it, exactly. That is it. Now, the question is, and for the ladies and the gentlemen at home, are we on equal performance?
We are indeed on equal performance.
So this is skill.
Your skill.
Set.
You have the gift of the gab. Yeah, I was just about to say.
Talking, yes. Gift of the gab. There we go. That is exactly it. And you know what? There are many new people who have joined us, including some returners who are driving tonight.
We have quite a few. So our new boys, we've got Drifthawk currently sat in P2. We've got Rocket in P4. We've got Owen. Oh, that just changed. Owen in P7. I think that's it. And our returners, we've got Seb Mail back. If you've been in the Discord for a while, that is a throwback. And Vans Racing, another absolute throwback to this league. Haven't seen them in many, many seasons, and it's lovely to have them back.
Frank has returned, and he is in the Williams this evening.
He is. Pay no attention to the cars people are driving. It has no bearing on what they'll be driving next season. The team reveal will be next week.
And anything can happen in that.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen. But yeah, so let's address the elephant that isn't in the room.
Okay.
The new game. Now,
I would say that elephant is very much in the room, given that we're currently looking at it.
Yes, but it's not an elephant.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's more of a horse, shall we say.
Okay, carry on.
Last year's game was maybe a donkey. This year's is a
Yeah.
horse. Much better car model and handling.
Yes, absolutely.
This year. Initial observations positive. Not too much of loose rear end. I think last year after they changed the handling model, it very much didn't go down well.
No,
so it's nice that they've went for a bit of an intermediate, shall we say? But very much Dirty Air is going to be a challenge for racers. It isn't as easy now just to follow cars.
Yeah, no, indeed. Dirty Air is absolutely vile on this game.
Absolutely. Which just means you need to be number one.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be quick.
Exactly.
But the other thing that means, of course, with bad Dirty Air, is that tyre wear is also significantly higher on this game.
And that might throw in some very open strategies. Now,
yeah,
in
indeed.
a 50% race, normally, in many previous years, you generally do a one-stopper.
Yes.
And that's it. Unless there's a safety car or a VSC. Yeah. This year, who knows?
It'll be very interesting to see if it ends up that the two-stopper is actually quicker.
It will. But again, though, it will be unless... Sorry, if you are really bad on your tyre wear, you will lose so much more time by actually going and staying on those tyres than if you actually made a change.
Yes.
But it will be interesting to see how different players react to that and strategies come into play, which will be extremely interesting.
And I think what a lot of people are kind of struggling with at the moment is that, as you said, handling model has changed a lot. We are very much relearning because it was very well known on the 24 game. The flick as you went into the corner was unbelievably overpowered. However, on this game, you can flick, but it doesn't help in any way, shape or form.
No, you lose more time than you gain. If you are, and as I put in the Discord, a point and squirt driver,
Yeah.
you actually won't do that well in this game because the handling model rewards smoothness. A bit like New Me, smooth.
Smooth, calm, controlled.
Smooth, calm. I have yet to go above 20 decibels.
Indeed, you're doing very well. And of course, the other thing that the Flick does on this game is put more wear into your tyres.
Correct.
So that will also not help at all.
No. Although, and I think those drivers that tend to like an oversteering car. Mm-hmm. So for those that aren't familiar with the term oversteer, the rear will step out. You like a very tight front end, but you'll allow the rear to step out. That will not be rewarded either.
No, absolutely not. It's going to be very, very interesting because we have quite a lot of people in this league who like an extremely pointy car and have very little interest in what happens on the rear because they can just deal with it. It's not going to work well now.
Interesting and on board with Sociopath just now, and again, just I suppose after a few seasons of not commentating, it's quite nice to sit and watch drivers again and analyse the turning. So he's just went, he's spun around in turn 4, but missed the apex, went in a little bit deep, and then floored. 3-point turn is a little bit questionable. However, I said I wasn't stoking controversy, and I've started. No, I apologize. But you run wide, you are more likely now to pick up immediate debris. You see it if you go offline or if you go on the grass. The tyres instantly pick up the debris, and you then have to run for a few corners to get back to optimum temperature. And again, it isn't a case of run wide and you can just keep going. You're going to have to sacrifice.
Yeah, the other thing I've really noticed on this game, because it's me and we expect nothing less, is when you spin, you're going to be in a right pickle because your tyres do not recover on this game.
No.
And you will end up doing very many pirouettes, which, while look very, very pretty, are not helpful.
No, they're not. And I'm just trying to look for who's out on track at the moment. So Rocket, for instance, in the Alpine, if there ever was two words that would not go together, is Rocket. However, he's coming down into 13, and again, relatively on board so far, smooth. And Bahrain maybe isn't the circuit where it's going to fully tell driving characteristics and handling, but so far missed a couple of apexes, and you can see how that impacts the car.
Yeah.
However, looking at some of the times, and okay, it's early doors, but I mean, if we leave Ujoni, because he's just in a league of one, the closeness is really strong, considering some of the new drivers in Frank, who Vans Racing's returning. A second and a half behind Bogo?
Yeah.
Not bad when you've just come back after 4 seasons, maybe?
Yeah. I think more than 4 seasons. I think probably 7 or 8 seasons at this point. Because I joined in season 6, and he wasn't here that long after I started.
When did I join? Season 4?
Gosh.
Maybe, I think so.
You were definitely here before me.
And then I decided that I loved my job so much that I decided South Africa and Canada were calling, and
off you went.
Disappeared, and off I went. Exactly. But and this is very much this qualifying is almost irrelevant. The race will be interesting. because people will, for the first time, see where their ultimate performance is at this point. And we know that there's 2 or 3 different driver sets. One of them is what I would describe as maybe a GAV, which is adapt quite quickly to the new game, but then doesn't really make any more progress. So starts quick, but
if you imagine a graph, it's quickly upwards and then a plateau.
Yes. You'll get yes. I would 100% put myself in that category. You will get the drivers who are seriously quick, who will take maybe 8 or 9 races to really get into the groove, and then they will just eliminate everybody else. And then you've got the kind of what I would call the middle of the road. They are always there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And this game is going to be very interesting, especially to see how they tweak it over the next few patches.
Yes.
To understand what they do. And also with the fact that the LiDAR scanning is there for a number, and it's a small number of tracks, so let's not make it out to be a track. I think it will come. But you race on those LiDAR tracks like Bahrain, you notice like bumps in cambers that I've never seen before, or experienced, and it's going to be curious to see how that plays out. Now, I think anyway, there was a rumour going about that EA had got a 2-year extension to the game. I think EA have come out and said that is possibly a bit premature.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is there was a news article on what website was it? But anyway, irrelevant. And it did say that they'd got a contract extension for a couple of years. And then that media outlet then had to issue or update the post to say that they possibly went a bit premature.
Right.
But we know that the end of 2025, this game, is the last year of the current contract. Now, F1 and FOM will not be silly to not have either already agreed an extension with EA, or they already have something in mind. Because with the growing popularity, with the Netflix deal, with the movie, everything like that, you would be foolish to not to. I will find that article because it is going to slightly annoy me if I don't know. EA contract. Yes, so there was a few. I think Insider Gaming did say they will continue. Yes, Traction.gg was the website. Now, to be fair, that was only a couple of days ago, so it may have changed slightly. But certainly, it would be a positive step forward if they continue, based upon the trajectory that they've made, and whether they, shall we say, divert some of their developer resource that was in the World Rally Championship games. They've given up now to the F1 franchise because they know they need to step up the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing is they'd sorted sort of the new engine for the game for the rally games, but then had found that it wasn't working for F1 games. Now that they've sort of disconnected from the rallying side of it, one can hope that we might get more focus on a new engine for F1 games, and that will be a huge difference maker.
But even the move to current gen. Now, a lot of people saying that will stabilize things. It will improve the graphics.
Yes.
There has been a graphical step forward.
Yes.
However, I wouldn't say it is the leap that perhaps people were thinking, because we think, well, PS5 is now 5 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years, COVID, 2020, 2019. They will not have quite got used to the graphical power of the current gen until I think next year. But then next year brings its own problems, which is the new regulations.
Yeah.
They won't have any they won't have any research material that allows them to say how will the cars handle. Whereas 23, 24, 25, I mean 25 coming out at the end of May, it always used to be about June from memory. But the earliest it's come out. I think next year it will be back to June or July. I would have said probably a July British Grand Prix, mid-July.
Do you think?
Yes, because they will need. So they will have an element of data that's coming from their computer-generated simulations, etc.
Yeah.
But what they won't have is, and don't get me wrong, the actual cars, the 25 to 26 cars, are fundamentally not that different. Yes, they're a bit smaller. Yes, they're a little bit skinnier. And they've got a little bit more wing action going on. But the key that they won't have any reference or very little reference material will be is the active aero.
Yes.
That is going to be the interesting one because, again, no DRS next year. Active aero, push to pass.
Yeah.
It's how they will then translate that into the actual game
with very
little source material. Those who have just tuned in will be thinking, God, the new game's just launched and you're already talking about next year. But this is where my mind goes.
This is where a lot of F1 gamers' minds go, you know? You're always thinking ahead.
Yeah. But if let's take it back 20 years.
Okay.
2005.
Yeah.
So you had F1 2005 on the PS.
Two.
Then you had F1 06, and that was launched on the PS2. But then when the PS3 came out, you had F1 Championship Edition, which was launched the tail end of 2006. And most people will then remember that there was no 07, there was no 08 game, and the 09 game was on the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
And wasn't quite there. So you then went from what was Studio Liverpool, which was part of Sony, who were producing the F1 game, to the Codemasters, in such a dramatic leap from in what was PS. But anyway, the whole difference is you have to take time to learn it and then get the model right and the coding and the game engine. And the game engine will be critical because I still think EA potentially have I'm not going to say that. Do people buy an F1 game because they want to play Breaking Point or they want to play a movie part? No. They buy it to race online or to race the exact season. And you just think, see if they took a step back and went, what are and this is always the interesting thing, what are the things that gamers want, right? And if you look at Discord, you look at forums, they want classic cars.
Yes.
Right? Codemasters have and models, and okay, the technology has moved on and all of that, but go back to when they put in, what was it, F1 18 maybe, 17, 20, 19, whatever it was, and they brought in like the 2004 Williams BMW. They had the F 2003 or whatever it was. Great, brilliant.
Love that.
Yeah, exactly. We're into a race.
Oh, let's have a look at tyres. Well, we filled that 5-minute gap well, didn't we?
Do you know what? I didn't even know what I was filling for, because I actually wasn't filling. I was enjoying having the conversation about ifs, buts, and maybes, but I will hand over to you for this.
Yes, so we are getting going. So the tyre strategies. Most of the grid are fairly unanimous in that they're going for mediums. We've got 3 on the hard tyres, which is Ugoni, because it doesn't matter what tyre he's on, he's going to be disgustingly quick. Then you've got Sociopath and Vans. And then further back, you've got Loppy, Smith, Seb Mail, apparently Gav, and Chris Bailey on softs.
Yep. Apparently I am in a Sauber. I can tell you right now, I am not.
Yeah, you are looking very ghostly. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's a full
No, actually,
grid.
that's Seb Mail looking ghostly. You are looking solid, sir.
Oh. No.
If you'll excuse my...
I am not stoking controversy or anything.
I'm just setting you up now, aren't I?
Well, yeah. You were setting me up for something. Chris Bailey is ghosted now. I did note that he left the session in early part of qualifying as well. So
maybe his pedals are not quite as worky as we might have hoped. Because he's been having pedal issues, bless him.
He has. I did say his IKEA flat pack knowledge was limited. I will say one thing, and just very quickly before the grid lines up. If you get a front view of the Mercedes, see, because they've got the black end tip to the nose, it looks very reminiscent of like a 2003 Ferrari with the gap bit in the front wing.
It does.
Like a really old school, what I call old school F1 car. For 40-year-olds. But yeah.
Or like the Mercedes McLaren from like 2007-8? I think they had a similar thing, didn't they?
They did have a similar thing. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Oh look, Gav's just holding everyone up now.
No, wait a minute, no, I'm not. It's Seb Mail's Sauber that's holding everyone up.
There we go.
There we go, exactly. Let's not blame me for things. I've only come back. I'm only back 20 minutes.
I know, but I've been gaming with you for a long time. I can say these things. Here we go. We have 4 lights. We have 5 lights, and we are. Any minute now, we are away in Bahrain for the pre-season test. And Bobo's had a very, very good start pulling alongside Ugoni already. Is he going to keep it going into the braking zone? Ugoni, does he have the better traction? He's on hard tyres, but he has better traction. And there's people all over the track. Oh, Bobo's already got the move done on Ugoni. And Saviour's having a look as well. Not quite.
Frank's dropped to the back, and Chris Bailey is also at the back, but not racing. And we do have another Williams round, Smith, so... Not a good opening lap for them.
But Vans, I don't believe, has any damage, so he got away with it.
He did. Again, very clean start. Apart from possibly the contacts involving Frank. But when anyone
we'll move swiftly on.
Yeah, the two Red Bulls have a little fight there.
And we've got Mahmoud and Rocket side by side. Well, no longer side by side. Mahmoud have had a very good exit. Loppy's having a go now and gets past Rocket. I wonder if Rocket's running some hefty wings today.
Oh, I went on board with him. I shall report back with findings.
Good man. So, I mean, Bobo's already opened up half a second gap over Ugoni. If you've ever raced Ugoni, you know that's not an easy task.
Even with hard tyres on.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Mahmoudev's right on the back of Owen now. Is he going to try and take 2 newbies in 1 lap? He's going to give it a good old go. But Owen is trying to fight back.
Loppy's speed.
Oh, hello, Loppy, yes.
Yeah. So, the report back from the Rocket man...
Yes.
Couldn't see much of a difference, if
okay.
I'm being honest. Although he has just been passed by Anton.
So maybe he's running slightly high wings, but not that high.
Yeah. Taking it easy, learning.
Yeah.
There we go.
Which is very sensible at this point in the pre-season.
2 Saubers, 17th and 18th, led by me, apparently. That's not realistic.
I assume Seb Mail must have left a lot. Chris Bailey is inside Seb Mail. Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is some bizarre racing on the screen right now.
Well, it is, but it's also... I think they would have expected those comments from me.
I know. You. Well,
yes.
You never know what to expect from Baby Hornet.
No, that's very true. I don't know how Calvin ended up at the back, though.
He had a big spin out of turn 1.
Have you seen the race strategies?
No.
A 3-stopper and a 2-stopper it's coming up with.
Well, we did say there it is. Yes, it's just appeared for me. That is yeah.
I mean, we talked about it on a genuine level. Oh, Ugone's up the inside of Bobo into turn 1. Bobo survived.
I was so focused on the strategy that I almost missed that.
Ugone will look to get him back though into turn 4 at top of the hill.
He has the DRS. Bobo's going to try and stick it in there. And does he stay ahead? Ugone's staying side by side. But Bobo uses the grip of those medium tyres to stay ahead. I saved that.
Bobo had a moment there. He's down to third.
Yeah, Saviour, if you make a mistake, Saviour will take that opportunity.
He was on the very much the inside into turn 8, came out of it and had a wobble in the rear, and that just displaced him. And Ugone and Saviour, as you said, just sailed right past him. But he's now into the dirty air.
Yeah, and he has not had this yet, this race, so this will be very telling for Bobo.
It will. I'll say the other thing, and again, it might just be because it's a pre-season race, but the 3-second penalties that are being racked out, track limits is still an annoyance.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, like you were saying, you've got to be so on it with your apexes. Because the way this game works, if you miss your apex, you will run wide, and you will get track limit warnings.
Yep. Saviour's about to have Ugone.
So he is. Ugone's not backing out, though.
He's not. He
big
had a bit
twitch.
of a snap. Interesting that Saviour's speeds with DRS, Ugone looking again, was quicker than Bobo, so Bobo's running slightly higher wing set. Look at him go now! You don't try and overtake there!
Try and tell Bobo that!
Yep.
Omar's out!
Yep, and it's a safety car.
Oh, and that's not what I was expecting from Armar.
No.
Well, having said, is it a 2-stop, is it a 3-stop, I think it suddenly became a 2-stop.
It will, for those that are on the... Well, those on the softs should pit, 100%.
Yes.
Medium runners have a debate with themselves. They've got a decision to make. Do they go in now and stick the hards on, try and get them, I don't know, another 20 laps and hope for another safety car and you put the softs on?
Yeah.
Or do you stay out? Because the hards will stay out. You would be ludicrous to pit. But there is only 3 hard runners. Let's see Saviour. Saviour's moving to the right. Is he fading it? Oh, he's coming in. So is Bobo.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're rolling the dice. Now, what tyres are they going to put on though?
Surely it's got to be the hard tyres.
The McLaren's putting the hard on.
Yeah. Where's Saviour? The hards.
Yeah, okay. So we're... Interesting, Anton stays out.
Interestingly, the hard runners are... Well, Van certainly has come in to get rid of his hards.
And he's... Yeah. Let's see what... He had to... he was stacking. He's going to mediums. So apparently... What?
Smith came out of the pits and... did not exit the way you should exit the pit. He went straight across the track.
Testing the code limits, that's what it is.
He was testing how the tyres feel coming out of the pits. Thanks to Smith's testing, so that we don't have to, we can confirm that they feel disgusting.
Yes. Now, I would say the other thing that is disgusting
is
the fact that in 8th place, the Banshee has remained on the softs, as has Christopher Bailey, as has Sebastian.
Yes, indeed. All of the non-driven cars, the AI have a very different idea about what pit stop should be happening.
I mean, I don't actually know what to make of that, to be honest,
No.
because generally in previous games,
Yes.
and now it's not put in.
Well, I will say this. Generally, on these games, the tyre wear of AI drivers is just non-existent.
Oh, yeah.
They can
So
take soft
saying,
tyres for about 60 laps, just like I should probably at some point.
so what you're saying to me is, my AI Banshee is going to win.
I'm not sure about that one. If it does, then there's some serious reworking to do on the AI for this game.
Good job we don't need. Good job we have a full grid.
Yes.
Or fully grid. There we go. Another interesting point, just whilst we're there, the lap record in Bahrain for a race lap record is still held by Pedro de la Rosa from 2005.
Is it?
Despite all of the what should we say? All of the changes, all of the electricals, etc. 131.447.
Wow. So what you're
Which
saying is
a
that F1 have spent literally millions and millions and millions of dollars making F1 cars wonderfully advanced, and they're not even quicker.
No.
Okay.
Many money spent to go slower.
Yeah. That's a very, very sad fact for everybody who is involved in real life F1.
But again, though, and it could really be a combination of many things. Like Piastri's fastest lap this year was a 135.1. So 135.1. 20 years ago, 131.4. So
4.1 seconds slower for all of the monies that we've spent on F1. That's great to know.
Yeah.
But here we go. We are racing again. And a very good restart from Ugoni. Sociopath also stayed out and is all the way up in P2 now. Saviour's already trying to take the fight to Ant, and to be fair to Ant, he doesn't seem to fight it that hard. I say that, he's come back in the after the Apex.
He is. Remember, Anton didn't pit either.
Indeed. So is this already a clear sign that in F1 25 the meta is pit?
We'll need to come back to that.
Yes.
Because I don't know right now is the simple answer to that one. Because Anton on the 6 lap old mediums is still ahead of Drift Top in 2 lap old hards. And again, the overlap, you would potentially. Oh, Rocket's got 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I've just been passed for 10. Oh, I'm passed for 12, 11.
Gav's just dropping like a stone.
That's. Hey, did I not just say that was a nice drive? 1 2 3 start quickly, and then just plateau. Well, in this case, back the way.
Right back.
Right back. I do feel sorry for Smith because he is 23.5 seconds.
Oh yes.
Which clearly meant that the safety car didn't, unless he. And to be fair, he may have been there. I'm just looking actually at the gap between Sociopath. Not that bad actually. Just in terms of looking at the speed differential, but also the ERS usage as well. Which will be interesting for next year's game on Push to Pass, because you won't know when they'll use it.
Yeah, indeed.
Mama do it. is doing well.
He's doing very well, up to P8, right on the back of G-Star.
And he is no slouch.
He is no slouch. And he is one of our newer drivers coming to join us in Tier 0 this year. Yes.
The race of no assists.
And all, of course, will be revealed next week, so I'm not going to go into too many details. But yes, we are looking forward to... We have quite a few new drivers coming to Tier 0, which is really lovely to see so many no-assist drivers giving it a go.
I shall not, because I wouldn't do very well.
Because you are a wuss.
That is correct.
At least you can accept it.
Oh, I can accept it, as much as I can accept being P15 right now.
Not that you have that much control over it right now.
No, I mean, to be fair, and I will say this, the Kick Sauber livery this year does look quite nice from the front. When you start to move to the rear, I think they lost touch with reality, because it's a bit boring.
Yes. It starts nice and then it's black the whole way.
Yeah, I think to be fair, they spent the budget on the front half.
They used all of their budget on so much fluorescent green paint that they ran out and had to go to black.
That's exactly it. I was in Kick Sauber once with when I raced with Morgan, and we won the Constructors' Championship.
Oh, well, there you go.
Exactly. Let's talk about the non-elephant again. The other not elephant in the room, but we'll call it a giraffe.
Okay.
That Ferrari livery
is gorgeous. Apart from the weird blue stuff,
or the big white sort of sash down the engine cover.
Now, to be fair to Ferrari, they normally have a white sash down the engine cover.
Oh yes, but in the past it said Marlboro.
Well, this is true. Unfortunately, we're not allowed that anymore.
No. Much to the pity. Because... And actually, some of those liveries were superb. But anyway. So yeah, Ferrari... Okay. I will go back to this. The RB livery, I think, is pretty much one if not the best this year. That white, yellow nose. I mean, in a really weird way, you wish Red Bull, the parent team, would do that and almost return RB to that metallic blue Toro Rosso type of livery. Because, don't get me wrong, and I understand why Red Bull are the dark blue, but that white just looks...
Oh, it's lovely. It reminds me, it's basically the same as the livery that they ran in Turkey a few seasons ago.
Yes, exactly. And that was beautiful.
It was, yeah.
Did enjoy that. What else is going on? Oh, I thought someone had spun around there, but they've not. I'm not quite sure what yet we've found about tyre wear, because Anton's still within a second of Saviour, who's within half a second of Ujoni.
Yeah, and it's just not really changing about very much.
No.
Although Drift Hawk has got past Bobo.
Yes, and they are both on equal tyres. 5 lap hards.
There we go.
Oh, look at Saviour.
Oh.
The inside.
Yeah, here he goes. Oh, a big lock-up from Ugoni.
Yep.
That was a Charles Leclerc lock-up right there.
Absolutely. But here comes Ugoni back up the inside.
What an exit he had, though. As Saviour goes for a switchback.
He's done it.
Well, sort of.
Oh.
No, he has not.
No, he hasn't. And again, though, right? Again, fair racing. Nothing. Oh, Loppy and Carl are going for it. Coming down now into turn number 8.
Ooh, big lock-up from Loppy. Gives Carl just a small advantage going on to the back DRS straight.
And you've got Rocket just behind him, almost sitting there. And again, though, the way this game is coded will be in such a way that, and if you think in previous games, you would happily sometimes sit behind a driver waiting for the DRS or
Yes.
towards the end, especially on those tracks such as Azerbaijan,
Yes.
Canada, where if you were second, you didn't want to be first because you wouldn't have DRS and you'd be overtaken.
Yes.
I don't think this game will reward that anymore because of the dirty air. But
yeah,
in saying that, hold on, Nels and G-Star are having a little good.
Ooh, big lockup from Nels.
Yeah, and he is. And G-Star's going to get the DRS, and he's going to be round the side.
I will give a special shout out to Nels, who joined the league last season in Tier 3, ran all of the relevant Tier 3 assists, got told, yeah, but you're moving to Tier 2, just so that you're aware. And he went, okay, I'm dropping all assists.
Good on him.
And he's just sticking to it, so fair play to him.
Yeah. Loppy, Rocket and Carl. Carl now down to 11th. Loppy up to 9th. So a little battle going on between those. I'd be more, again, concerned the gap, but I think those two are having a nice little battle, which is always good. Yeah. Apparently, me and Chris Bailey have pitted and put another set of softs on.
Oh, good.
Madness. I'm still really curious as to if people are fully pushing, and this is a representation. I mean, the top 3 are all within DRS range.
Yeah.
Ugoni's coming at Saviour like a rocket to the moon. He's going to look up the inside. No, he doesn't. He's going to get a better exit out of 1 though. Flip through 2.
But it's an interesting point you raise. Is this like real life F1, where the pre-season testing is more a test of who's sandbagging the most rather than who's actually the quickest car?
Yeah. So again, I look at this and go, Saviour, Ugoni, Anton, Chris Bailey. Okay, Chris Bailey not because he's disappeared.
Yeah.
But they are always there or thereabouts. But you look at the tyre differentials: 8 lap hards on Saviour, 12 on Ugoni, 12 lap mediums for Anton. Yet he's still there. So again, are we going to get into this scenario of the tyre difference or the vector or the dynamic between the different tyre sets could be quite close at some tracks and be absolutely ridiculous at others?
Absolutely. And this game is going to very much play into the hands of people like Ant. It's no secret in this league that Ant is incredibly good at looking after his tyres.
He is.
And that is going to be a big benefit to him on the way that the handling model works on this game.
Yeah. Now, and so Ugoni's in the pits, so he's making his first stop. Let's see what he's putting on.
Now, he's less than halfway, so is that suggesting he's going to go for a second stop?
Mediums.
Or is he now going to try and take mediums 16 laps to the end?
Oh, G-Star and Nels had a near enough proper coming together there. I don't know. So you're talking about 15 laps on the mediums, and the only one who's close to that is Anton right now.
Yeah.
Who has ironically dropped back from Saviour now, so about 1.4, and before he was maybe about 9/10.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch, out of curiosity, I'm going to watch the lap data for Anton this lap and compare it next lap to Ugoni and see what that difference is.
what's key for Ugoni is he's had 2 sectors of absolutely clean air. So he's just been able to push and try and minimise any gap that he might lose if the people at the front have to pit again.
Yes, however, the time gap between him and Sociopath in near enough what is 3/4 of a lap
Yep.
has only decreased by about 0.3 of a second.
Okay.
Now, Anton's just gone over the line on a 1:33.8. So let's jump back to Ugoni. And it's not a fair representation because he's just come out of the pits, but 1:33.8 was Anton. Let's see what Ugoni does. So he's now brought that gap to the Sociopath down at 1.9.
It's also worth remembering that Sociopath was behind Ugoni before he pit, and Ugoni came out, 2.5 seconds behind? So the undercut is very powerful here.
It is. And that also throws in very unique strategy calls. Now, go back to the other games. The undercut wasn't as powerful, but now it is. So, Jonas, let's see what he does at the end of Sector 1, 29.9. So he's 0.2 quicker than his previous best. So remember, Anton was a 1:33.1, 1:33?
Yeah.
Now, Ugoni's still in relatively clean air. He's about, he's in clean air. He's 0.8 of a second behind, but he'll likely get past Carl in the Ferrari.
Maybe not on this straight, but by the pit straight, I would suggest Ugoni's going to be in a position to make a fairly easy pass. Because it's Ugoni.
So he is 20.9 seconds, so 21 seconds behind Saviour just now. So Carl's taking a very wide line there, but let's just...
Carl goes, I don't want to fight Ugoni, you go ahead, pal.
Yeah. So let's see what he does. So he's going to come across the line. And okay, he was held up a little bit, but he's going to do a 1:32. Yeah. 1:32.6, so half a second is the tire differential. Now, he is, now 20.3 behind. So yeah, it's there.
But it's not as big as you'd expect.
No, but you also have to come out perfectly.
Yes.
Because if you come out into traffic, unless, and remember that this is a very mixed ability session.
Yes.
And there are tier 3s, tier 4s, 1s, 2s and all that good stuff. But if you come out in your tier in a handful of traffic, then actually your tyre offset isn't beneficial to you anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the other interesting thing. And everything, and bearing in mind that everything is made, every decision that we make as drivers when we're racing is made by us as we're driving whilst you're trying to figure out everything else that's going on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not as if you're, I mean, even when we're in a party, if you think, the only time you really get to properly sit down and almost take a bit of a breather and think is during a safety car.
Yeah.
When you're racing, you've got no opportunity, so you're reacting constantly based upon what you think someone else is doing, because on the heads-up display, you only see, 3 cars ahead?
Yeah. 2 cars ahead, I think, isn't it? Because you see 5 cars, including yourself.
Yeah, so what's he now? So he's 19.2 behind. So about 2 laps ago, he was 21. So he's taken about a second a lap.
Yeah.
Now, remember that everyone has stopped once, except Smith, who stopped 4 times, and is still in front of me. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Dirty Hawks twice. But everyone else has stopped. Could Saviour take his tyres to the end? He would have, no joke, 24 lap old hards.
Oh, on this game, that might be pushing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, the AI is... I mean, Anton's pitted and he's put softs on.
Yes. As only Ant would.
Well, yes, and this is where I then come to the whole realistic representation, where some drivers will be saying, this isn't a proper race. I'm going to see what happens. How long can I take soft tyres? How long can I take mediums? You can pretty much guarantee for Bahrain anyway, it's going to be dry.
Yes.
So there's not a weather issue. So when people are learning, and especially those that are new, they instantly will go time trial. Time trial is not an accurate representation of pace because it is the perfect track conditions, the perfect tyre conditions, tyre temperatures, everything. You can get a setup by all means, but test it out in Grand Prix mode.
Yes,
Test
100%.
And you're never gonna. If you've got time, you could probably create or find a setup for wet and dry on every single circuit.
Yes.
For those of us like you and me who work and we have some time to practice. Well, maybe you more than me. I literally may end up looking at a setup and going 2 hours before the race and going, right, I've done about 3 laps. That kind of suits me.
Yeah.
But if your weather changes and you've got, and that's the other thing, and I'll be very open about this. I do not, and I never have created wet setups or dry setups. I use one setup.
Yeah.
And if it works, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like in Singapore, you can qualify in the dry and race in the wet, but the same setup works. But I don't know if that's going to happen in this game. So
I don't think it will. I've done one wet session in this game so far, and
was it horrible?
It is unlike any wet weather session I've ever driven. And again, I don't hide the fact that, to me, wet weather on F1 games is equivalent to the Antichrist coming to Earth and killing us all. It's the worst thing ever. But this was a different level of there is no traction.
Bambi on ice.
Yeah, literally. It was appallingly horrible.
But, and again though, and I've not raced in the wet yet, so, but that is the other piece. You almost have to treat a wet race, you almost have to treat the car in front as the rear end of the donkey that is going to kick you. And that's not to say that you can't race against people, but you cannot race as close. I mean, I remember Tier 3 last season, Singapore. I was second, I can't remember who was in the lead. And I would get within about 7 tenths.
Yeah.
But you couldn't, even if you had more pace, you couldn't find a place to pass because you had no traction and you were trying to control the car and you've got people behind you and everything. So it's not just as easy as send it. You can't lick it, the stamp and send it.
No.
In this game either, because it will just destroy your tyres.
Yeah.
But, in saying that, Johnny's up to 5th.
He is. He's fighting back quite admirably. Now, to Saviour, Ugoni is 14 seconds behind.
14 seconds. Oh,
now,
okay, so
if Saviour was to stop again, would the tyre delta be significant enough that he would gain that time back?
So 21, 22 seconds you need to pit. So let's think about this for a second. And Ugoni's just overtaken 2 people on 1 corner, which is phenomenal. So he's making about 1.2 seconds a lap. Delta at the moment, positive. If you pitted now, you wouldn't get set softs to the end. So you're going to have to pit in maybe lap 22.
Yeah.
Then your gap to Ugoni's going to be down by another maybe 2 seconds by that point. So that's going to be, what, 11.8, 12 seconds? No. So if you're Saviour, you have to stay out and you have to hope beyond all hope that you can just do enough.
Yeah.
Because even at 1.1, what's that, 9 laps, 9.9, 10 seconds, still leaves a 3.5 second delta that you can't quite cover off. But then Saviour's going to get slower. I mean, if it was me and I was Saviour, and I'm nowhere near as quick, I would not pit.
Okay.
I just
Having said that, Saviour is ignoring you and going in the pits.
I mean, that's not. I wouldn't say that's a wrong decision because you know me that I always liked to do a different tire strategy
Yes.
in the past. If everyone starts on the mediums, I start on the hards and then hope it comes to me.
Yeah.
And again, absolutely, I always put softs on. Absolutely no qualms about saying that. Sometimes it's about luck, and
Yeah.
you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. What will be curious now is how. So what's Saber? What's the gap? So he is 9 seconds behind you, Goni.
Yeah.
And he's got what, 7, 8 racing
Well,
laps?
10.3 it's settled at.
Yeah.
So he's got to average about 1.2 seconds a lap.
Yeah. So he's got to do what Eugoni was doing to him for the last 6, 7 laps.
Yes.
I sound a bit like the Honda engine there.
It's going to be interesting, and this is the test we want to see, to be fair. So thank you, Saviour. We want to see whether the two-lapper is actually overpowered on this game.
Yeah.
And certainly he's already closing that gap down to Ant.
Oh, he is. And so who he's got in front? He's got Ant on, he's got G-Star, he's got Nails, and then Eugoni. And none of them are slouches, but he's within a second now. So, about, I don't know, a lap ago you said 10 seconds. He's now only 7.6 behind the leader. And Eugoni is now the leader.
So, remember how we were like, is it overpowered doing a two-stop? At the moment, the feeling is, yeah, actually it kind of is.
Yeah.
It kind of is. A medium hard soft strategy seems to be paying dividends. However, we do also have to remember there was a safety car which played significantly into his strategy.
But again, right, that to me is what I'll call the luck element.
Yes.
I mean, and this is the thing. A lot of it is, if you have a perfect race in which there's no safety cars, no VSCs, the person who will win will be the person who has driven the best consistently and stayed out of trouble. Doesn't need to be the fastest, but the best overall. When you bring a safety car into it, it entirely depends on what your strategy was. So you start on the hards. You're not going to pit on lap 3 and put mediums on. But you start on the softs and mediums. What have you got to lose?
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be there anyway. But you've got to then understand that the differential in pace. So Saviour at the moment is 6.4 behind Eugoni. So that delta has dropped in this lap by about 8/10 roughly.
Yes.
So he's right behind G-Star. He's going to pass him easy. The question will be now is how quickly he can gain, because he's got 6 laps and he's only 6.1 behind.
Yep, he is closing that gap down pretty rapidly.
Yeah. My AI has decided to put me, Chris Bailey, and Seb Mail on the hard. So after 2 runs of softs, actually.
Oh my lord!
Was it 2 sets of softs?
I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. 2 sets of softs and then a hard. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the strategy which works.
No, can confirm the AI have got this slightly wrong.
Yes. So he's, again, Saviour's 5.7. So he's gained about 7/10 so far this lap.
Yeah.
Bobo's the interesting one, again, right, in G-Star. They're the ones who have rolled the dice and decided that they're going to stay on the hards until the end of the race.
Yeah.
Come what may. Throw a herd of wild baboons crossing the track. They're still sticking out. And that could pay dividends because Anton's 6 laps off, so he's going to start to face challenges.
Yes.
Saviour's now 5.1, so he's gained a second, 1.1 maybe this lap.
Yep.
He's getting there. I'm just trying to see if anybody else is kind of there or thereabouts. The field's very spread out now, apart from maybe G-Star and my move to the...
Yep.
Oh, save your second. Up
He
in turn
is.
4.
And 4.2
DRS.
behind. This is going to be very close at the...
So he's purple in sector 1 as well. So he's set his fastest first sector.
Yeah.
So he's now got clean air. He had DRS on both the start finish straight and the run up to turn 4. So let's see. Oh, he's over. Actually, funnily enough, just as he was coming over turn number 10 there, he kind of jumped over the curbs, which are obviously slightly higher, so it sort of offsets the car slightly. So he's lost a bit of time. But let's see what he does at the end of sector 2. Is he quicker? Well, he must be.
He's still quicker, but I don't... it wasn't purple.
0.1. No. So, and Anton hasn't quite... His softs are 7 laps, and this is my worry about pitting. So we've proven 2 things. One is, if he had stayed, if Xavier had stayed out on the hards, he would have already been overtaken. So we know that the stay out strategy, which I would have done, would not have yielded anything.
Yes.
However, Eugene is Superman.
Yes.
So
we'll call it the Eugene factor.
The Eugene factor, yeah.
Yes.
If you sell that to Simon Cowell, you'd get a TV show.
Yeah.
And you can buy merchandise. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the kind of undercuts, and we know the undercut is powerful.
Yes.
But do you then sacrifice the early performance and almost then lose out towards the end?
Yeah. Very true.
Because this is my other point, and interesting. Xavier, that gap has stalled out at about 4 seconds. Has he now reached that point where he's taken 4 laps of soft tire performance and absolutely taken... Well, he came out 10 seconds behind, so he's 6 seconds. Has he now used all the sweeties early?
Yes. Potentially. So is it, just voicing things here, is it actually in this game worth taking that extra set of mediums in qualifying, and actually medium hard might be the way to go?
Well, so this was the other. I was just going to ask you this. So, if you stuck a set of mediums on, you won't have the immediate goodies, but you would have the opportunity to drive faster for longer.
Yeah.
And so, so if you started on the hards, and you went medium, whereas Xavier started on the mediums, went hard, and then went soft.
Yes.
It's a valid point. If you'd stuck the mediums on, you might not have instantly got your kind of 5-6 seconds. Now, interestingly, Bobo and Anton are having a little fight with each other. 21 lap old hards and 9 lap old softs. But going back to the Xavier thing, yes, I would have said put a set of mediums on, but only if you've got them available. Because again, if you change your strategy that says, well, you want, I don't know, a more conservative strategy than more softs, then you're not going to make it. Because Bahrain is high on tyre wear as well. It's not a circuit that you can just turn up and you have very little tyre wear. I mean, like a Monza, for instance, or I'd even argue the Red Bull Ring in Austria, for instance.
Belgium. If you're Belgium, smooth, Belgium has really low tyre.
Yeah. But again, though, he's decreased it by half a second this lap. So again, though, like let me just see what Eugene does. Eugene's done a 1:33.0. Xavier has done a 1:32.2, 8 tenths quicker.
Okay.
So actually, maybe it was just. What I don't like about this game is the amount of smoke from the braking.
Yes, this is very true.
I mean, it's overkill because it instantly disappears. Tone it, EA, if you're listening, tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. The other thing we've got to remember, though, on the Ugoni Saviour battle is Ugoni is now on 13 lap mediums. They are going to be starting to feel a little bit lively, I would imagine.
And for those that are watching, I can't see what Simon is showing you right now, because I'm looking at my own. But if you go on board with Ugoni and look at his front right, you can just see where the wear is coming from, and it is very central. Now, if you then flip back to Saviour, and again, it would be expected. There's no kind of dullingness on the tyre, so again, much more of a smoother rotation. But you can see that tyre wear on Ugoni just beginning to kind of come through. It's 2.8 now, and you've got 2 laps remaining. So
that is a wonderful addition by EA/Codemasters to the game, that you can really see the tyre wear.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you go on board with Bobo right now, down the back straight, and look at the right front, and as he starts to slow down, you can see just the slight dullingness, and you've got the occasional shiny bit and everything. Yeah. But you can see where he's kind of struggling, and then you look behind him at Mahmudev, who's got 10 lap old cars, nice and smooth.
You could even see the graining on both. Well done, EA. Oh, that's brilliant. I like that.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, right, you will see that as a driver anyway. So it's not as if you're not seeing it. You just don't know what other people are doing. Now, a lap and a half to go, it's 2.4. Now, unless Saviour is within DRS range at the end of this lap, he won't catch him.
No.
Because he needs the DRS to essentially push to the end.
I'll tell you, I've just noticed a certain someone about to take P3 from Ant.
Yes. But then, and again, absolutely, 10 lap old hards versus 11 lap old softs.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is Anton playing his game and seeing how far he can take it. Because remember, he was only a couple of seconds behind Saviour at one point. He's now 10.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Saviour's only 2 seconds. Nah, he's not going to do it unless Johnny makes a mess of it somewhere on the final lap.
He just ran very wide out of the final corner, but it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, as Sociopath goes around.
The other interesting thing is, again, genuinely, on previous, maybe the last 2-3 years, you could pretty much guarantee that drivers would all pretty much, Saviour's just coming out of turn 1 there, had a moment. Yep. So you can tell that he's now at that kind of point. So I would say that 6-7 laps was your absolute limit on the softs. But let's look at the top 10. You've got 4 soft runners, 3 medium runners, and 3 hard runners. Yep. There is a whole mix of strategies in there, which you generally wouldn't have seen on previous games, because generally you would always have finished on mediums or hards. Most people tended to have the same strategies, and there wasn't really any difference.
Yeah.
That's what I think I'm most excited
Oh,
about.
it's going to be a much more interesting game this year. Much more interesting.
Saviour needed another lap.
Yeah. And to not have that huge kick out of turn 1.
Yeah, because that probably cost him about 3, 4, 5 tenths.
Yeah.
And he's now within 1.3. But again, the question comes is, did he pit a lap too early? But then, would he have lost more time? Yes, he would have lost more time.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny's about to start where he finished off last season.
Yeah. But he did close that gap down really, really well. And there, in that moment, Saviour showed you what happens when you oversteer and you damage your tyres. You lose long-term traction off of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, a second pretty much over the line. Bobo finishes 4th, 24 lap hold. So if Saviour had stayed out, he would have likely finished 3rd.
Yeah.
But again, you just don't know, because again, it's like everything. What I will reiterate is, if you were an AI person, you finished last.
Yes, definitely the AI, we can confirm, is not that quick.
No.
So you can rest
challenges.
easy in that sense.
Absolutely.
It
But
comes
you don't have to
light.
worry about them.
Well, no, indeed. But I do
Um,
genuinely believe this is a two-star. Oh, there we go.
I
And 92% rear left at the end there.
so that so in my head, I'm sitting there going, you really don't want to take those soft tires. What would be interesting to see were Saviour's percentages, because I would suspect he was about 55 to 60.
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But again, Anton would never do that in a race,
No.
in an actual tier race.
No,
So
absolutely not.
this is him testing those limits, etc., and seeing where he gets to ultimately.
And these are the things
Um,
that we want to see from testing is people pushing the limits and figuring out what you can do with the game.
yeah. Can I keep pushing on my tires? Can I go a little bit quicker into turn 10? Can I maybe put a bit more power down quicker coming out of turn 1 and turn 2? Or am I gonna cock it all up?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Oh,
it's
have you what is this new? Race
is
winner, fastest lap driver to go most
yes,
overtakes
yes, that's
finished driver.
brand new.
Ah. I don't quite like the stances that our friend Anton is doing with his hearty emojis. I know he's from
Yeah,
France,
I'm
but
not going to lie, I've just skipped straight past that. So
oh,
there is your
I'm
finishing grid. You can all see it's very
mm,
nice and mixed up, which we like. And
interesting.
I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game for the new season.
Well, Anton's fastest lap, which was the fastest lap, was only a tenth quicker than Saviour's. So again, direct comparison. Eugene, who never put the softs on, was only about 8 tenths back.
Yeah. So
Mm.
there we go. We are every single session that we do, we are learning new things, and it's always very, very interesting about what's going to happen with the new game.
Mm.
So
And we have
thank.
had
Oh, go on.
sensibleness. I was going to say we've
We
had
have
sensibleness. We've had
and
discussion points.
factuals and things like that.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure factuals is not in fact a word, but you know.
Factual statements have been held whilst all
Yes.
describing the action.
Absolutely. So we won't keep you much longer because we've probably fried your brains a bit tonight with a very in-depth talk about this game and the game that is probably not even under construction yet. But it has been an absolute delight having you back on comms, Gav.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be back.
Good. We
Pleased
look
to be
forward to
back.
having you around all season.
Yes, I am around, which is always good.
So, thank you for joining us. The next pre-season event will be, let me make sure that I am 100% correct in what I am saying. Well, we've got the live team draw coming up on Monday. So make sure you tune in for that, where we will be announcing who will be driving for what team and who's teammates with who. And then on Wednesday
Mm.
next week, we have got the final fun race of the preseason. So we hope that you will join us for that as well. And thank you for joining us tonight. Good
Yes, thank you
night.
very much all. Good night.